My name is Tim Lawrence, and I'm with the Veterans Outreach of Wisconsin. And you are at the 9th annual Welcome Home Project. Thank you for coming. Wow, what a beautiful crowd today. I apologize for the delay. We had a couple of recipients today that, for one reason or another, could not make it. So we're going to wing it. We're used to that around here. So, first off, before we start, I want to thank the VFW Post for letting me continue this year after year. I never asked permission. I just started it 9 years ago, and they just let me continue on to what we have today. Special guests today, I want to thank Victor Serra, Betsy Aid, Jeff Gustin, Stubby Metzger, the staff of Veterans Outreach, Veterans of America Motorcycle Club, and Billy Contreras. So thank you very much for helping me out today. I never asked them to help me either. They just showed up and they supported me every single year after year after year. No matter how boring I get, they're here for it. So maybe it's because we have such a great cause behind us, they put up with me. So thank you very much for helping. Before I introduce our Korean War recipients and John Hetland's parents, we are going to open up with the national anthem. So gentlemen, please remove your hats. Mr. Billy Contreras.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That gets me every time. Mr. Billy Contreras, let's hear it. Show of hands, how many veterans in the crowd today? Put your hands up. How many civilians are in the crowd today? Raise your hands. Now keep your hands up. Civilians, keep your hands up. Now look next to you. And if you see someone that is not raising their hand, thank them for their service today. Don't just scream now, but later, tomorrow, the next day, 5 years from now. We are free because of them. Thank you very much.
I'm surrounded. You're in good company. Never said I wasn't.
First recipient from the Korean War, I want to introduce you to Corporal James Shea. James, please stand forward. Corporal James served in the United States Army. He was stationed 5 miles from the DMZ. The DMZ is at the line separating North Korea from South Korea. I believe the President of the United States crossed over that line today, whether it was in defiance or in peace. It makes no difference. The Korean War is still not over. Think about that for a minute. James ran the enlisted records division for the 31st Infantry. He wants me to call him Jim. Jim? Jim ran the enlisted records division for the 31st Infantry, 7th Infantry Division, a position that was normally held by Master Sergeant. And if anybody knows their ranks, Master Sergeant is a lot higher than Corporal. So this guy really did his job well. The 31st was first activated in December of 1917 in World War I. The 31st was best known for its participation in the Pacific Ocean Theater in World War II. In Korea, the 7th was the first unit in action in 1950. The 7th would later fight in the Battle of Pork Chop Hill and the Battle of Old Baldy. Please welcome home from Korea, Corporal Jim Shea. What I told them was that we hand out a flag to our veterans while they're here. It makes sense, right? That's what they fought for. And they should be able to see it and treasure it. And it's not just from me. It's not from Veterans Outreach of Wisconsin. It's from every one of you to them. So we want them to treasure it. They earned it, and we want them definitely to see it. So thank you. Introducing Corporal Julius Manecki. Corporal Manecki served in Korea from 1952 to 1954. He was in the 1st Cavalry Division. He was a CW operator, and if you don't know what that means, he was a Morse code talker. He was assigned to the 5th Regiment Headquarters Company, and the 1st Cavalry is one of the most decorated combat divisions of the United States Army. In Korea, we lost 40,000 soldiers, with over 100,000 wounded. All told, at the end of the Korean War, 5 million people lost their lives. To this day, 23,468 Americans protect the 38th parallel, and they're in our thoughts and prayers today. Please welcome home Corporal Julius Manecki. This is where I kind of make stuff up and make it seem like I've planned this all night. That's what happens when we have cancellations. Every year we have a veteran that gets cold feet. The PTSD is too much for them. Many reasons why they can't attend today. So we're going to fill in the blanks here. Kind of a last minute thing, but I'll tell you what. Somebody should have thanked these people a long time ago, and we're going to do it today. I want to introduce you to Joe and Jim from the Veterans of America Motorcycle Club, best known for their work for veterans with Rock for Vets. Veterans of America Motorcycle Club. Yeah, you see the vests, you see the cuts going down the road. But instead of judging for what they look like, we should always remember that they are out there protecting our veterans as they come home. The majority of that club has served our nation. Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, probably even Kosovo, somewhere along the line. What they do for this community and its veterans can never be repaid. We don't have to ask them to do it. It's just what they're all about. So Joe and Jim, welcome home, and thank you for your service.
A lot of J's.
And before you guys go anywhere, so I didn't even know this was going to happen, but today they came up to me and they said, hey, we want to write a check out to the John Hetland Fund. And, you know, these guys always seem to know how to throat punch you without even touching you. And we're going to present John's parents with a check for $500 for their kids to help them move along in this community. Vic, if I could have you and Rochelle and Ronald please step up. Thank God for Jameson, that's going to help me with this next one.
Oh boy.
I'm going to get through this if you guys get through it, okay? I'm not going to cry in front of these bikers. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm going to cry. It's funny how you don't cry in the back of a paddy wagon. So if somebody could handcuff me, I could get through this a little bit easier. Vic, did you bring the cuffs? Today we're here to honor the memory of John Hetland. Born December 22nd, 1969. His parents are here today, Ronald and Rochelle Hetland, standing right next to me. They are here today to bear witness the city of Racine had for their son, the love and the respect. I didn't know John personally, but I got to know him pretty fast thanks to Facebook. I know, it's amazing, right? There's actually some truth on Facebook. I learned about him through a fellow officer, retired Vic Serra. We sat and we had a nice chat about John. One of his comments to me was, I can't believe you didn't know him. And that right there is a huge statement for me, because 90% of my friends on Facebook are law enforcement, first responders, soldiers, veterans, but not John. We talked about how he loves softball, golfing, and fishing. I learned that he was a dedicated father to Brooke and Hunter. Facebook also taught me that he was a school resource officer, helping kids that would have turned left instead of turning right. He was always there. He was a role model and countless other thoughts and sentiments. He watched out for his fellow officers as vice president of the Racine Police Association. Trained countless rookies. With that training, they're still alive today. That's not all that John was. John was a hero, plain and simple. Protector of the thin blue line. The line that stands between law enforcement and chaos. Once that line falls, we are all lost. I don't care who you are. If you're a criminal, you're lost. He held that line proud, as do all of our police officers. If you don't like the law, change it. They work protecting the law that is written and handed down to them. It is our job to vote in the officials that we want to represent our best interests. Do not take it out on our first responders. They're doing their job. I keep hearing the term, in valor, there is hope. What that means to me is, if there are men and women willing to die for me and you, that's the valor part, then there is hope that we can pull ourselves away from the hate this country has fallen into. The hope is that our law enforcement personnel get the respect and gratitude that they deserve. I'm not a great speechwriter. I used most of the words that you guys used to describe John. But I wanted to know what the definition of valor was. So I Googled it, like any great speechwriter would. The definition of valor is great courage in the face of danger. Just like on September 11, when those firefighters were running up as everyone was running down, John ran in and did his job. How many people are alive because of that? Racine will never be the same. Ronald, Rochelle, you raised him well. He was the example to the rule. A leader, a knight in shining armor, a true American hero. Imagine right now, if you will, John looking down on all of us. He would only have one thing to say to you. Cry not, for I am gone. Smile, because I was here. The only thing I think of right now is let's just put our hands together and clap and yell as loud as we can for John. Today we present them with the American flag that they've already received from our government, our official entity. But today it's from the citizens of Racine that fell under his protective watch. So for Brooke and Hunter, I present you this flag. Many of you know Vic Serra. I've known Vic since I was, I think, 18. We ran in the same circles. We goofed off. We had a lot of fun. If you saw on Facebook, he did not want to receive this next flag because he thought it would be best if an officer in uniform on duty was here to receive. But like everybody else said, BS. You're coming up here and you're doing this. I couldn't think of a better person to present the thin blue line flag to the Racine Police Department. I hope they have a place for it somewhere behind glass. This is not just for Vic. This is for every cop that walks a beat, that pulls us out of a crashed car, that stops an armed robbery, that helps you when you lock yourself out of your car, or when you run out of gas on your bike in the rain. I present Vic with the thin blue line flag for the Racine Police Department. See, I didn't cry. Yet. I want to introduce to you our special guest today. Last season's contestant from The Voice, Betsy Ade, is here to perform Amazing Grace in a tribute to our fallen hero, Betsy.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace that fear relieved. How precious was that grace of hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Twas grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home.
Thank you, Betsy. That was beautiful. That concludes today's ceremony, but I want to leave you with a few parting words. We celebrate our independence today, and it did not come free. Even though the people of England have to go to work today. Sorry about that, guys. We are here today because of these two gentlemen that served in Korea. These gentlemen that served in Iraq and Afghanistan. We lived in troubled times, and we will call upon our brothers again soon to defend freedom, whether it's in the United States or it's a village in Afghanistan or in an entire country or even the world. Please keep them in your thoughts and your prayers today. As you see the military floats go by, stand up. You give them a salute, give them a wave. Let them know we appreciate them. All it takes is a thank you. 22 veterans die each day. I think we can reduce that number greatly just by saying thank you, giving them a purpose, especially our Vietnam veterans, which were not represented today, but they are not forgotten. That's where this all started. So on behalf of Veterans Outreach of Wisconsin, the Veterans of America Motorcycle Club, welcome home to all our soldiers, and thank you for your service. And thank you to Ronald and Michelle. I can see where John got his bravery from. This was a hard thing to do today, to come here. Just remember, this isn't from me, it's from no group. It's from all of them. And we thank John, and we're seen as a better place because of him. So thank you very much. I'm going to say goodbye today, and I hope you enjoy your 4th of July. Major Palm is here today. As usual, he is going to read Old Glory to you. Hopefully the parade doesn't catch us. Has anybody got the time? Oh, we're good. We're excellent. Come on up.
Well done. Thank you.
Once again, it's an honor and a privilege that I've been given to present the military side of this event and our great flag. This great flag, which we all love. I have had many people tell me that they love hearing this poem, which is written by the late Johnny Cash. It's called My Ragged Old Flag. And it goes like this. I walked through a county courthouse square, and on a park bench, an old man was sitting there. He said, I said, your old courthouse is looking kind of run down. He said, nah, it'll do for our little town. I said, and their flagpole is leaning a bit. And that's a ragged old flag you got hanging from it. He said, have a seat. And I sat down. He said to me, is this the first time you've been in our little town? I said, I believe it is. He said, well, we don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. You see, she's got a hole in it there where Washington took it across the Delaware. And it's got powder burns from the night that Francis Scott Key sat and watched and wrote, "Oh, say, can you see?" She almost fell at the Alamo next to the Texas flag, but she flowed on, though. She got cut with a sword at Chancellorsville, and she got cut again at Shiloh Hill. There was Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, Bragg, and the South fought really hard against that ragged old flag. In Flanders Fields in World War I, she got a great big hole from a Bertha gun. And she turned blood red in World War II. I know she hung limp and low a time or two. She was in Korea and Vietnam. She went wherever she was sent by her Uncle Sam. There was Iraq, Afghanistan, 911, and Desert Storm. There's plenty of reason why we should be honoring our flag, and it should be the norm. She waves above our ships sailing over the briny foam. And for a while we've just about quit waving her here at home. In this good land, she'd been abused. She's been burned, dishonored, denied, confused. And the government for which she stands was scandalized throughout the land. She's getting threadbare, and she's wearing a little thin, but she's still in great shape for the shape she's in. Because she's been through fire before, and I know she can take a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning, and we take her down every night. We never let her touch the ground, and we fold her up just right. On second thought, I do like to brag, because I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag. Since most of you are already standing, we'd like to close with just having you do the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you can stand for that.